All right, hell yeah. So I had a little hole in my. This is a thwart that I use for reflipping my boat, kind of that creature craft method. But we have a hole in there, and I put tear aid, and then I even put another tear aid. But still, when I pump this up to a high pressure, it'll leak out. And so, hell yeah, we have just a little bit of glue here. We have some MEK. It's 748, and I just want to do like the roughest job possible on this. And but I think I'm going to clamp it down. That's always the best. I'm going to keep it a little bit gooier than drier. I've run into issues where if the glue is too dry, then I don't get a good adhesion. But also trying to find something to clamp this to where you can just leave it for a couple days, and that makes such a bomber glue patch. I think that is the secret sauce. So that's the first thing I'm going to experiment with, is just like get a setup where I feel like I can clamp it either with a vise or so catch you on the flip side. All right, hell yeah. This is the hardest part of every raft repair that I've come across is like, okay, so we're going to put the patch there, and can we put downward pressure on where it's flat on the backside? So hell yeah, there's no crinkles on the backside, and so when we put downward pressure, but see how there's a lot of resistance here. So the solution, usually I would use like a sandbag, but this rice is going to be perfect because I can get this rice in here, and that's going to kind of flatten out that whole area. And then I'm going to be able to put weight on it. And I'm going to get this whole thing on the ground, and I'm going to pile up at least wood to get it past like this lip. And then here is a bunch of tile. And so that's a hell of a lot of weight. And we're just going to try to load it up with as many pounds as possible. Like honestly, if you could get 100 pounds or more just over that area, then I think your repair is just going to be so much more bomber. All right, booyah. All right, hell yeah. Excuse me, we got that tear aid off, and that was pretty tricky to get off, but oh no, we got one more little piece. But it definitely comes off in one piece. Booyah. All right, this remaining chunk is not coming off, so we're going to use this MEK. Hopefully that softens all that stuff up. All right, hell yeah, we cut our patch. Now we're going to sand it, and then we'll glue it up. All right, hell yeah, this glue is like 5 or 6 years old, maybe even longer, and is still good to go because we really cleaned the lid with MEK, and then we apply a petroleum jelly all the way around here and then around here, and that just makes an airtight seal. So hell yeah, we got fresh goo. All right, we're gonna get this coated and then this coated, and we're gonna do that twice at least. Get it tacky dry, and then put them together, and then we're gonna put down that rice, and we'll do it somewhere, you know what I mean, and then just have it set for 24 hours. Booyah. Hell yeah, I don't care about overage, but I was just kind of marked, you know what I mean, how much farther it is away, and booyah, I don't care about overage. Hell yeah. All right, hell yeah, I had to turn the fan off, put a coat on this, it already dried out, put a coat on this one, put a second coat, kind of sheen this up again. Now, you know what I mean, and then you can kind of take your brush in here and kind of see how wet or dry it is. But I just think that you don't want it too dry, you know what I mean? And so we're not going to wait too much longer. That's got a pretty good tech. And then, like always, if you see totally dry areas, I really do think you want to kind of sheen those up. Just areas that you think are just going to not tack up, where they just don't have any juice. All right, hell yeah. So we are... And I would rather glue this together more tacky. You know what I mean? Even just kind of right in there. See that? How it's kind of drying out? So I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to... This patch is drying out faster than that one. And so hell yeah. All right, we're going to tack this together and then do our clampity clamp. Booyah. All right, hell yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's probably wetter than you actually want, but I swear, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go for it because now we're just gonna get into its location, put the weight down with the rice, and then just start loading it up. Hell yeah. All right, hell yeah. These are little chunks of steel. They weigh about 5 pounds each. And then we're just gonna see if we can put this whole thing on top, and then we should be good to go. All right, hell yeah. Okay, I think we did it. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be enough weight, and then booyah. So that's just going right into that little spot. Bag of rice is over that patch, and I think that's going to be the money. You know what I mean? Might throw another cinder block on it, but we'll see. And we're good to go. All right, and so it's 8:20, and I'm going to be done. So I'm just going to put away these tools. That'll take 10 minutes just to get them in the right location because they're far away into a storage unit, but we did it. You know what I mean? So, and I don't know. You know what I mean? I've just had not success if the glue is too dry. So my rule of thumb is get it extra wet, and then make sure you do a good job of clamping, and even wait a couple days. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be, I think, absolutely welded. I have one near the on my boat near the drain holes, and I did this method absolutely bomber. And I even have a video of just doing a normal patch with the weighted method, and that thing, I haven't had to look at it. You know what I mean? It won't peel at all, not even a little corner coming up. But the other patches where you just do the roller, man, that's a bummer. So if you can't clamp, then you're going to have to do something like that. I would go a little bit drier, keep it tacky, but still find a way to get some sort of. And then, you know, having sand or rice, I think rice could be the way to go. You could even just have it loose, just a pile of rice, and then just weight it down, because that rice is going to spread out and distribute that load. Okay. All right. So for not caring, I think we did a pretty good job. Booyah. All right. Hell yeah. So it's the next day, and that rice, I think really worked good. I can even see like the dimples of maybe the rice pushing in onto that patch. That's wild. So we definitely had enough pressure. And it's 24 hours later. It kind of rained and puddled on there, but that was just this evening. So I dried it out. But hell yeah, I'm going to let this thing dry another 24 hours before I pump it up and actually use it. But hell yeah, we just won't have any sort of, you know, I just don't think it's going to peel up whatsoever. And so, hell yeah, like even right there, it looks fully bonded. And I don't know, maybe that could have been just a little bit better. But anyway, I'm going to let it just fully dry out for another 24 hours, and then we'll use it. But there you go. There's the full patch. Anyway, I'll let you know if it wasn't good. You know, if it was too wet when we put it together. But all right, hell yeah! It's like 5 days later, and I just want to show you this patch again, just because it's fully dried out. So all this stuff is totally dry, and you know, I don't want to force it, but I just really think that man, it just came out really good. You know what I mean? There's no pockets where I can just easily peel this patch up. You know, again, I don't want to try. But hell yeah. So the secret sauce that I use, the formula, is go a little bit tackier. You know, don't let both contact surfaces totally dry out, even though you do the knuckle test, and you know what I mean? Like the knuckle test is just so it's not so wet that it's going to stick to your knuckle, or you're going to pull it off the layer. But hell yeah. So I just think going just a little bit wetter is the way to go. But coupled that with hella clamping, and we use tons of weight, and we use that rice to distribute it. Now I have used sand in the past, and that also works good. But yeah, you can see the dimples the rice put into this patch, so you can just totally tell just a lot of pressure.